I saw a father backhand his son in a restaurant. My reaction was swift and furious, and I didn't stick around to watch the man passed out and bloody on the floor. Before we get started, could you please hit that like button? It's the best way to make me quit asking. They say you will become the person who should have saved you when you were a child. When I was growing up, I lived in a very abusive household. Everything we did, every slight against our parents was worthy of the belt. Something simple like forgetting to empty the dishwasher or forgetting to make our beds, and out came the belt. There wasn't one of us, 2 boys, 2 girls, who didn't get bloodied by that belt at least once in our childhood. Teachers noticed the bruises and how gingerly we sat down in class. Neighbors noticed and even heard some of the crying. A few times the police stopped by to do welfare checks, but this was in the 90s, and police and law enforcement couldn't really do much about it at that time. As soon as I was old enough to leave, I packed a bag and never looked back. The same was true with each one of my siblings. We managed to reconnect years later, and we still keep in touch today. None of us have any kind of contact with our parents at all. We know they are still alive because when any of us try to do something with official documents, government records still show them as living. But none of us want to find out for sure, and none of us care. I knew that one day when I became a father, I would not ever utilize such violence to punish my kids. Now each kid is different, and the punishment should definitely fit the crime. But beating your kid until they bleed is absolutely not necessary for any reason. I don't tolerate violence in relationships in any kind of way. I have even lost a couple of girlfriends because of that. One push, one slap, and our relationship was finished. My wife now knows that I am very sensitive to physical violence. I am nearly 2 meters tall and over 150 kilograms, but I am a giant teddy bear and most people know it. My wife is the only one who has seen me truly angry a couple of times, and that is when somebody put her or my children in danger. Fast forward 8 years and I have 2 boys, Mark, 6, and Ryan, 7. We like to roughhouse, wrestle, and play, but I always make sure that they are safe. They fight each other like boys do, but I tried to teach them that there are better ways to handle the situation than using violence. One time, my older son, Ryan, was in his brother's room, just sitting on the bed playing with toys. Mark just kept staring at him to annoy him. Ryan got angry, and I saw him raising his fist to hit his little brother as I walked past the room. Luckily, I stopped him in time and told him you have to figure out a way to solve the situation without using violence. Your brother didn't use violence against you. You can't use violence against him. An hour later, I heard Mark screaming, "Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!" I went into the room to see what was going on and found Ryan sitting on the edge of the bed, completely naked. If his little brother wanted to keep staring at him, he was going to give him something to stare at. Problem solved. No violence. I got a call from the school one day. Mark had gotten into a fight with another boy, and the principal sounded quite serious. When I got to the school, I saw Mark sitting with an ice pack on his fist. I saw the other little boy in the principal's office through the glass with his parents sitting next to him. The other boy had an ice pack on his mouth, and from what I could see through the glass, he was missing a tooth. I went into the office, and his parents immediately started yelling at me, but the principal interrupted. He told me that my son had punched the kid in the mouth and knocked out a tooth. He said that his only choice was to expel my son from school. The parents seemed very satisfied with this decision. I asked the principal what had happened. The principal said there wasn't any need for more explanation. So I called my son into the office and asked him to tell me what happened in front of everyone. Mark told me that he watched the other boy push a little girl down into the dirt. She had hit her head on the ground, but the boy had only humiliated the girl and caused her to dirty her dress. Mark said he didn't waste any words. He just punched the boy in the mouth for bullying the little girl. The principal looked a bit shocked, and the parents argued that that doesn't give my son the right to punch their boy in the face, knocking out a tooth. At that moment, the school secretary came in. She had an iPad in her hands with a video of the playground. You could clearly see the other boy running up to the girl from behind and shoving her hard to the dirt. Then you see Mark calmly walk over to the boy and punch him in the mouth. The school secretary had already called in the girl from the video and her parents. They arrived in the principal's office shortly after. The little girl's parents were furious. This was the third time that boy had bullied her. There was a lot of arguing and shouting in the office, but the principal managed to negotiate a deal. Both boys would be suspended for 3 days. The little boy who started the fight would have to make an apology in front of the entire class for bullying. Everyone. But the toothless boy's parents seemed okay with this outcome, but they didn't press the issue. Finally, this brings me to the restaurant incident. We were sitting at our table with another family at a table directly across from us. I had noticed the father being very aggressive and angry every time the boy did something the father didn't approve of, using his hands to eat, not sitting properly, speaking without being spoken to. Silly little things like that. I could see the father getting progressively angrier and angrier, but I did not try to intervene in any kind of way. I just kept watching. We were finished with our meal, and I had just finished paying when I saw the boy had dropped his fork on the ground with a loud clank. As we were getting up to leave the restaurant, I saw the father make a very quick move to backhand his son in the mouth. The first thing I noticed was the boy's eyes well up with tears. Then I saw a slight trickle of blood from his lip. I guess my son learned it from me. I didn't say a word. I calmly walked over to the man and hit him in the face as hard as I possibly could. It was like a scene from a silly cartoon. The father actually fell backwards in his seat. He hit the floor with a loud crash that caused the entire restaurant to go quiet. I saw his eyes closed and blood slowly pouring from the side of his mouth. I'm actually not sure where I hit him, nose or teeth. I didn't even look at my hand to see if I caused any damage to it. I turned and walked out of the restaurant with my family. I never heard anything from the police. I did see social media posts from people who recorded the aftermath. You can see the police clearly arresting the man after they see the child's face. By then, his lips had swelled up to double their size. After those videos went viral and people on social media found out who the guy was, I did a quick check of arrests in our area. I found a mugshot of the guy. Apparently, I had broken his nose. The police had arrested him on one count of battery of a minor. Turns out, that was not his son, but his girlfriend's son, and this was not the first situation where he had abused the boy. The police report said they were not looking for the man who had broken the abuser's nose, since there were no witnesses who could describe what the man looked like. Either no one in the restaurant had gotten a good look at my face, or no one wanted to tell on me. For some odd reason, the restaurant's cameras were also not functioning that night, so it looks like there won't be any repercussions for me. But I don't ever worry about it. That man is facing more than 5 years in prison for hitting that little boy, and he will never be able to contact or hurt that kid again. I'm okay with whatever punishment might come my way, but doubt it will ever happen.